Hello everyone, this is Graham Allen, and today I'm going to be giving a shout out to a Prog channel that I'll put a link to below, and I'm going to be showing quite a few albums, quite a lot of CDs, and the reason for this is that I've been going down a very deep rabbit hole of keyboard dominated duos and trios, often from Germany from the 70s, but also some later stuff from the 1990s, from America, mainly instrumental, and put out on a fantastic German label called Long Hair, who I've mentioned before, picked up some really old original tapes from the 70s of a lot of psychedelic and progressive rock, and has basically put out albums, mainly on CD, some of them on vinyl where they can. There's often sort of 30 odd minutes worth of music. There's some radio broadcasts as well from what's called the SWF studio, and I'll show some of those. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to a progressive rock channel. The guy's been commenting on my videos very kindly of him, but his channel is terrific. It's called My Prog Rock Show, all one word, 3025, and I'm going to put a link down below. And really, initially, what sort of amazed me was him showing a band from Germany called Schick Fürs Furlong, SFF, who do symphonic progressive rock, keyboard dominated. And I've got a number of their albums. Never seen anyone else show them, fairly specialist sort of area. And he showed some CDs that he picked up a box set. So I was quite amazed to see that. But latterly, for the Prog tag for 2024, incredibly, he bought this album on CD, which is 69, another German duo, Hammond organ dominated, Circle of the Crayfish, and this live album 69, which I got from Long Hair Music, and he's got them both on CD, and it was just great to see somebody else who'd got into that form of music. And I should give a bit of a shout out to a great guy in Germany called Manfred, who is terrific to correspond with, will make recommendations, and has done a great job with liner notes for some of this really obscure German keyboard psychedelic prog rock from the 70s. Okay, so I'm going to go through some CDs that I picked up. Hammond B3, sort of jazz funk, but also jazz rock. This is Niacin, dominated by John Novello's Hammond organ, but the wonderful fusion drumming of Dennis Chambers. This is their second album called High Bias, and it's also got the bass player from Mr. Big, Billy Sheehan. People may well know him from Mr. Big. Wonderful virtuoso bass player, so very high energy, Hammond B3 dominated trio, Niacin. And another album I picked up by them is Organic by Niacin. This is from the early 2000s. These albums are about 20-25 years old. Not that easy to find, but just great energetic jazz fusion. And there's very few organ dominated or trios in the jazz fusion genre, so these are great. Exactly the same lineup, a little bit of synthesizer in this, and they do have some guests, but again, terrific, really high energy, Hammond dominated jazz fusion. That's Niacin Organic. I did actually show this before, but again, it's just really to give a shout out to the SWR, which is the studio in Germany. This is Cannabis India, high energy progressive rock, keyboard trio, and it's the SWF Sessions 1973. So this was specifically recorded in the studio session for broadcast, and a great job done plucking out these tapes, dusting them off, cleaning them up, and adding in a couple of extra tracks as well from another band that the keyboard player played with. So just a great find, really high energy organ, Cannabis India. Great album. From the UK, and this is from the mid-90s, wonderful band who called Combination Head, and this is keyboard dominated instrumental progressive rock, and the keyboard player is called Paul Burchill. Been in touch with him. He sent this to me direct. I couldn't get hold of it even on Discogs, and I basically tracked him down on Facebook, and he very kindly wrote back to me and said that he got copies in his garage of the album and sent one on to me. This is terrific. If you like bands like Camel, you'd really enjoy this. Paul Burchill's keyboards dominate. And he's a very interesting character. He went on to do a lot of the musical direction and live work keyboards with People, who people will probably know in the UK, certainly. Sort of jazz soul outfit. And he went on to play with them, and I think write with them as well. But this is a fantastic album, Combination Head. And it's out on, I think it's his own label. It's SAM Records. But just a wonderful, wonderful album. So that's Combination Head. Next to Chile, and somebody that I kind of tracked down via Bandcamp. This is a guy called Jamie Rosas. He's from Chile, and this is a 2004 release on the Mylodon Records label. Once again, I was able to get in touch with one of the directors of Mylodon Records on the Bandcamp site, and he recommended some other stuff as well. This is terrific, keyboard dominated, symphonic progressive rock. Very much, I would say, if you like Emerson, Lake and Palmer's Tarkus, it reminds me a lot of that. So really heavy, powerful organ sound. Quite distorted at times, but also some great synthesizer as well. Wonderful drumming, mainly sort of instrumental. There is some vocals from Jamie Rosas, but a great release. And the Mylodon Records label have got some other really fantastic releases, so I'm going to be checking that out. And then we have Bootcut, who are a duo from Sweden. This is Ricard Sublon. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but he was the keyboard player in Anglagard, and he did some duo albums with just drums and mainly Hammond organ, and that's Bootcut. It's called De Fluff. Wonderful release, just great, kind of quite funky at times, sometimes a little bit soul-y, but mainly kind of a prog sensibility. Absolutely tremendous album, and I've now got 3 of their albums. They released 3 of them about 20 years ago it was, so early 2000s, mid 2000s. Really good, fantastic outfit. So highly recommended. Just going back to Niacin, this was a good pickup, very cheap off eBay. I think I paid about £3 for this. It's Niacin Live, so that's the Hammond B3 outfit. It's their live album where they really stretch out. Billy Sheehan, Dennis Chambers on drums, and John Novello on Hammond organ. Great album, really good. That's Niacin Live. And then I did mention these Castle Canyon from America. Wonderful keyboard-driven progressive rock. Gods of 1973. This was put out in the 2000s, and again was restored tapes from the 1970s, pieced together with some newer stuff that was put together mainly by the keyboard player Eric Walker, who I've written to and has been kind to write back to me and tell me a little bit more about the background to the album. But terrific album. And I did mention, I think on a previous video, a wonderful cover version of Symphony of Sorrowful Songs by Henryk Górecki, a very kind of melancholy piece, classical piece, and they do a wonderful treatment of it, so really recommended. And they did a follow-up called Criterion Obsession, which again is superb, dominated by Eric on keyboards, wonderful release, if you like, sort of very symphonic, keyboard dominated progressive rock, just fantastic releases. Okay, so this is the vinyl. This is Amos Key from Germany. This is on the Long Hair label, so Manfred in Germany kind of recommended this, and it's keyboard dominated. So it's a trio, great gatefold there, and again it's mainly sort of tapes that have been restored, lovingly put together to kind of form an album. This one actually came out originally in the 70s, but there's a second album I'm just waiting to receive, which is a CD of, again, sessions that they did in the studio. So some of them replicated from this, but other new tracks. That's Amos Key from Germany. Really, really good album. I went to the London Record Fair on Saturday, and this was the only thing I picked up. I didn't really expect to pick much up. This is Morgan Nova Soless, and this is a UK progressive rock trio mainly. There is some guitar, and it's a guy called Morgan Fisher who put together this sort of progressive rock album, and then went off in a very, very different direction afterwards. But amazed to find this. It's on the RCA label. This is actually an Italian pressing of this album. Got it for £20, which was really quite amazed at. It's not that strong an album, to be honest with you, and I'm not over keen on the keyboards on this album. On the vocals on this album, but it's nice to have it. I love the cover, and it's in really good condition, and it's very rare. So that's Morgan Nova Soless. Haven't played this yet. It's just arrived. This is Leor, the Italian keyboard driven progressive rock band, quite well known along with PFM and Banco as the big three. This is a reissue on clear vinyl. It's just arrived, as I said. So that's Leor. Haven't played it. It's on the Philips label. I'll just show you. It comes in this lovely sort of clear vinyl. And then last of all, I just show this because it was such it's a bit like the Morgan album. I found this, it was a local market stall in Archway in London, and this is a Japanese progressive rock female trio called ARS Nova, not the ARS Nova, the psychedelic ARS Nova from the 60s. I was just sort of amazed to find this. Very hard to get their stuff on vinyl. Got this for a good price. Again, not quite the strongest sort of writing here. I do find with some of these, some of the Japanese progressive rock sort of trios, very much influenced by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. So I kind of think I'm interested, but it can feel a little bit of just a pastiche of things like ELP and Leor actually. Ideas sort of thrown together, fantastically played, but a bit jumbly, not much sort of flow to it. And yeah, but just nice to have this. It's quite rare. I've got a CD of theirs, and as I said, they're an all-female band. Got into sort of prog bondage there. I'm not quite sure whether that works anyway, but it's a good album. And that's ARS Nova, and it's called Android Domina. And then just last up, something a little bit different. I'm tomorrow night. I'm actually off to go and see the Abba 3D Avatar show again at the Abba Arena in London. I'm really looking forward to it. I've been twice before. It's the third time I'm going. And if anyone hasn't seen it, I really recommend it. It's a fantastic show. So lifelike. And I think their music is terrific. And they kick off, I won't spoil it, but they kick off with a track called The Visitors from the Visitors album, which is one of my favorite ABBA tracks. It's a bit dark, but if anyone is sort of a bit on the fence about going to see the 3D hologram ABBA show, go and see it. It's fantastic. Anyway, thanks very much for watching and speak to you soon. Bye-bye.